And furthermore,
what a tangled web we weave.
When first we practice to deceive. Great words by Sir Walter Scott, which means when you act dishonestly, you're initiating problems in a domino structure of complications which will eventually run out of control. And that's exactly what Disney did last week. And ironically, it was a web that defeated them. By a character they own! And hello everyone, this is Pete, and today on the Super Smash Bros. Cinematic Universe box office records, we're going to see what happened with that mermaid's D-make, and how their Smash adjacent character taught them a lesson in honesty. Also, remember this little clip from episode 5? And that was the same year as Infinity War and Into the Spider-Verse! And sadly, the latter only made $190,173,195 for domestic. And that's pitiful for a film that completely changed the animation industry as we know it. And it was my all-time favorite film of 2018. By far! Yes, that is relevant once again. Because we have re-entered the Spider-Verse one more time. So let's see how the two animated rivals fare in battle.
Mario is Miles Morales. 3, 2, 1, fight!
So of course Mario started its run with 31,702,735. So Mario can make a jump to make a free move. Then Mario supplies is 54,804,460. And Spidey supplies his previews with 17,350,000. Then Mario is able to dodge with 113,073,325. Then Mario has its Friday with 56,989,725. Whereas Spidey has his Saturday with 37,566,658. But Spidey goes for Venom Strike and Mario dodges! As Mario had the upper hand with 170,063,050. Last Mario had access to its Sunday with 34,567,680. And Spidey had their Sunday with 31,288,822. But then a fight erupts! Wait, Mario should have won. They took each other out? What's going on?
Brooklyn?
Wait. Okay, so they're standing again. And they're teaming up! And I think I know why. Oh, it's you again! Now, this is what the D-make represents.
Because animated films make up some of our most formative movie experiences as kids.
That's the ideology that she promotes. Whereas this is what Phil Lord and Chris Miller are about.
The bottom line is that the movie is grounded in Miles and his family and his relationship with Gwen and the other spider people. So it's, you know, as long as we stay rooted in that, we're in business. And the other stuff is exciting and thrilling to see in the movie theater, and we're so proud of how it got realized. But at the end of the day, it's your emotional engagement with Miles that you know, keeps you involved.
So, did you catch that? Little Mermaid is about maintaining the ideology that animation is just for kids. Whereas Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse poses animation as a tool for story. According to the New York Times, there's an interview with Sean Bailey that talks about the remakes. Now, Sean Bailey, being the president of Walt Disney Pictures, wants to make the stories less retrograde. Now, what does he mean by this? Well, he wants more diversity in these stories, when they didn't need them in the first place. So that means it values diversity over story. Whereas Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is the exact opposite. As the first thing that Phil Lord mentioned in that interview was about the story and Miles' relationships. So that means Across the Spider-Verse is story first, diversity second. Which is what it should be. Now there's one particular detail that really grinds my gears. So, the little narrative that they have for the Little Mermaid remake is that they accuse China of bigotry for the cause for bombing there. Now, I'm not one to condone the actions and the thoughts of this particular country, but there's a little twist to this. In China, they only made $3,860,000 so far. Whereas Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is funded the most by China, with $32,720,000 as of right now. So it's like China doesn't care that the main character, one of the main characters, is of dark skin. So this dumb movie paints one country as bigoted, when there's evidence of the contrary. Whereas Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is said to be a masterpiece, or close to it, by most critics worldwide. Oh yeah, and there's one other detail. The gross of the original films. So they have said that the original film was outgrossed by the remake. However, as of right now, the opposite is true. Because if you adjust for inflation, it made $582,213,652. And that is worldwide. Whereas the remake has only made $414,210,339. Oh yeah, and the production budget of the original film was $40 million. And that's unadjusted for inflation. Whereas if you were to adjust by inflation, it would be $112,774,349.44. Compare that to the production budget of the current film, which is $250 million. It used $137,225,650.56 less than the remake's budget. Now, the original film for Into the Spider-Verse made $430,692,135. And that's adjusted for inflation, of course. Across the Spider-Verse, as of right now, has $389,946,000. Without inflation, it's outgrossing it. Adjusted for inflation, the production budget was $103,238,200. Whereas Across the Spider-Verse only had $100 for its budget. You know, I find it quite interesting that both of these movies were made for less than both Little Mermaid movies. Oh yeah, Mario was made with $100 million too. So, for gaslighting the public, for lying about your motives, and for being extremely expensive to make, you're unwanted. Get out of here! And these are the Smash adjacent characters I was talking to you about, because of a little title called Marvel vs. Capcom. Just so you know, the music from the series has been playing this entire segment. So if there was a chance that this Spidey from the game series was in the movie, and multiple game Spideys were already in the film, then that would have made his world canon to Ryu, Ken, and Mega Man. Funny thing, all 4 characters were or are going to be in Disney-owned productions. Talk about a monopoly. Well, it's about time we get back to brass tacks. It's time for domestic. And the Super Mario Bros. Movie has $570,163,000. However, today is the 2-week special. Last week's total was $566,296,010. However, the current total has a difference of $38,418,744. I personally don't think we're going to reach this total, but it's good to see how close we're going to get. Now on to international. And the Super Mario Bros. Movie has 745,665,467 in the international box office. And while the news for the Japanese release was updated recently, it only has $84,961,000. So, again, we're not there yet. Oh yeah, we took off that Mandarin movie off the list. And Frozen 2 is still number 1 in international, with 960,489,217, followed by Frozen at 855,895,967, followed by Minions at 821,225,989, and after that is Despicable Me 3 with 768,185,357. As for last week, we had 740,690,296. And now on to worldwide. It's always great to be back here again. And Mario now has 1,315,828,467. As for the mega list, which is still just 2 movies, has Frozen 2 with 1,453,683,476. With last week's Mario movie total of 1,306,986,306. Now, I owe you an apology. So admittedly, that intro for this video contains images from people I did not ask beforehand to use. So to somewhat remedy that, I will put in the description as many of the creators' names or usernames as much as I can. Because I know exactly what it's like for a YouTuber to use someone else's work without permission. Or at least a freaking mention! I mean, seriously! It's not that hard! I'm referring to you, JPR PokeTrainer98, when you used my primate for a video's thumbnail and didn't credit me! So I will not make the same mistake twice. Also, the reason why this took 2 weeks to create is because I was working on that dang animation and the opening for days. I am still learning this program that I edit on, and I'm dealing with a computer that has memory issues that force quits my programs in the middle of me working on them. It force quits my Open Office and my Medibang. Medibang is a Photoshop variant that is free. It was what I used to make the animation earlier. So, onward to integrity, and a mini review of Across the Spider-Verse. So I'm gonna get a little flack for what I'm about to say. While the film was visually stunning and had a lot of heart, I felt the opening was a bit long-winded. Because while Gwen's story was important, it didn't get to the overall story quick enough. As the intro to Into the Spider-Verse was such a nice little neat package that told you everything you needed to know about Spider-Man, while also giving a nice foreshadowing to later events. What I did appreciate, though, is that they had little moments of blurbs during the film that tell you important terms that you should learn about the universe. I also love the fact that this film retroactively made this scene work. It also cements Loki's sacred timeline into the universe, which means it's all planted firmly in the MCU. However, how they connect every single universe together is still a mystery. Because now there is a conflict of logics of how the multiverse works. Because in one interpretation of the multiverse, you change into what the world is like, whereas in the other interpretation, you don't.
You have opened up a can of worms.
Minor note, that film has Lego Movie's composer, Mark Mothersbaugh. Oh, and speaking of Lego, a shout out to the brick film creator known as Preston Mutanga, who made the awesome 2 Lego scenes in the movie. But frankly, his best stuff is on his YouTube channel, Lego Me, the OG. I'll also put a link to his channel in the description. However, this aspect of the multiverse has got me thinking of something. If Marvel's Legoverse is Earth 13122, does that mean a child's imagination makes a sub-universe? Also, never mind that cartoons have their own universe, specifically Spectacular Spider-Man and Spider-Ham. What perplexes me the most is the fact that Insomniac Spider-Man is a thing in this universe, and Spider-Bite is an avatar. Does this mean the universes that the humans control are their own sub-universes? Wow, we're getting into Tron territory here. There's one interesting thing that came to mind. When Miles Morales was being chased by the Spider People, one of them was the Spider Popsicle. Now here's some food for thought. A popsicle melts at 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius, which makes you wonder what temperature they keep in Nueva York. Because if temperatures dip below 45 degrees Fahrenheit, it causes lizards like Spider Rex and iguanas to undergo a temporary cold shock till they can get their body heat back up again. So lowering the thermostat is not the answer. What if I told you that in 2018, someone was developing a popsicle that was less likely to melt? Enter Bumpus and Parr, architects of taste. The Willy Wonkas of our age. Enter the non-melting ice pop. A misnomer, sure, inspired by an English journalist, educationalist, and inventor named Jeffrey Pike, who took sawdust and wood pulp, then froze it to create what we call piecrete. Piecrete is a frozen ice composite material, originally made of approximately 14% sawdust or some other form of wood pulp and 86% ice by weight. So these guys took the concept of piecrete and applied it to their popsicle, using fruit fibers instead of wood fibers, lasting hours in room temperature, thus making the reality of a sentient lolly possible. But there was one thing in the movie I wasn't the biggest fan of. The subliminal messaging. Look, if this was meant for an adult audience, I would understand. But this is a PG-rated movie. It has no business being in that kind of film. Families have been conditioned to think that PG is safe for children. Even the Super Mario Brothers movie is rated PG for crying out loud, for action and mild violence. And then Spider-Punk. Oh, Spider-Punk. That was a character I detested. Why, you ask? Because we live in an era where no one respects their leaders, and the leaders don't respect us. Why the heck would you think I would support anyone that derides the faith we have in our own system? I have a novel idea. How about get rid of the people destroying this system? Like the evil people running our cities to the ground. I'm sorry, but after these past 3 years, I have grown absolutely mad and angry at the anarchists who have destroyed this country! So, after dealing with the hate groups after these past 3 years, do you think I would support Spider-Punk in this movie?
No. 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 Hell no. 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 I refuse. No.
So, in conclusion, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is for all ages, whereas Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is just for adults. So I give the simply sublime Into the Spider-Verse 5 stars, while I give Across the Spider-Verse 4.5. You know, I find it interesting that a bagel is the catalyst for 2 Best Picture contenders in a row. Well, here's hoping this cooks up something great for animation again. Speaking of which, let's see what's in store for us for video game films.
Extra! Extra!
Yes, you heard that right. They're doing talks about the Zelda movie! But there's another side to this, because of the WGA writer's strike. Until this blows over, we're not going to get a lot of updates on a lot of things. Also, some movies have been negatively and positively been affected by this. How, you ask? If your film's name is Sonic the Hedgehog 3, then yes, we do have some good news for once. Because that little movie called Avatar 3, well, it's been delayed until December 20th of 2025. So that means Sonic has no competition from the Na'vi. But they do have competition with Marvel. Also at Paramount, I fixed something. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was made by Paramount, not Sony. All this time I thought that Paramount was the same as Sony. I was wrong. I apologize. Sonic the Hedgehog was originally going to be a Sony film, but was moved to Paramount. So now, since we got that out of the way, let's get started. From our beloved director Jeff Fowler comes Sonic the Hedgehog 3. In December 20th of 2024 from Paramount, featuring Sonic the Hedgehog, Tails, Knuckles, and Shadow the Hedgehog. Possibly also Big the Cat and Amy Rose, as well as Rouge the Bat. From the director of Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre, we get Minecraft the Movie, confirming to feature Enderman and Zombie from a character description. Hopefully featuring Steve and Alex, coming 4 months after Sonic the Hedgehog on April 4th, 2025 from Warner Brothers. From the director of Kong Skull Island, we have Metal Gear Solid, a film that is to be announced by Sony, starring Oscar Isaac. After that, we have the untitled Pac-Man film from the mind of Chuck Williams, responsible for the Sonic films. No director yet, but it will be produced by 20th Century Studios. Then from the directors of Nerve and Project Power, we have the Mega Man film, that's to be announced from Disney and Fox. Still very worried about this one. Also, hot off the presses, we have a brand new film that goes before Sonic the Hedgehog 3! Detective Pikachu 2! With the director of the Tim and Eric Awesome Show. From Warner Brothers through Legendary Pictures. And now we are done. I'd like to thank my new subscribers for getting 3 of my videos to over 200 views each. And if you like what you see, press like, subscribe, and smash that bell for notifications when my next video comes on. See you later!